Hello, my wonderful people. Good morning to you all. Oh, happy Saturday. Today is another new week, another new Saturday, and also another weekend as it ought to be. Well, my wonderful people, I don't want to take much of your time because it seems like these days I am taking much time trying to expatiate or elaborate on the issues that is bevailing the people of Nigeria and also people of Nigerian and also people of the Biafrans and also the world at large. Well, in other words, I just want to go straight to the reason why I am here this morning to give you the news that will gladden your heart. This headline, my dear brothers, if you are out there, are you a Biafran, are you an IPOB, whether you are autopilot or manual pilot, to tell you the simple truth, the Southeastern governors, you people remember that they held a meeting on Thursday in Enugu State. So now in that meeting, the part of the issue they discussed there is how to tackle the insecurity that is bevailing the Southeast, which they reached a conclusion that they're going to do what? They're going to tackle that insecurity heads up. And in that meeting, they discussed the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu also, and his freedom, and what they need to do, and what they required to set him free from where he has been held. In other words, they have come in conclusion to let the general public know, and even the Nigerian government, the cabals in Asorok, the Fulani government, whether the Katorialas or anyone that cares to know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is and can never be responsible for anything that got to do with the insecurity in the southeastern part of the country. That is the headline I brought to you this morning, and I know it will gladden your heart that at last those so-called governors who refuse to attend to this matter, at last they don't collect update and they don't collect woto because they receive a lot of bashing from east, west, north and south. Even most of them now say their wife is not even talking to them simply because they keep silent on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So as it stands now, the sky is the limit of all the Biafrans. We're gonna hear this headline, but before that, make sure you subscribe to my channel, you like, you comment, and make sure you share this message. Everyone need to get to know about it. Whether you are in Alibo, you are in Yoruba, you are in Hausa, or you are in Nigeria in general, or you are in diaspora, are you in Ofesi, that is African countries. This message need to get to every nooks and crannies of the world as long as Biafrans are concerned, and I need to hear this good news. Today, coming from the even those people who hate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now speaking in favor of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's a good news. And it's a thing to rejoice about. Anyway, let us go straight to the reason why we are here. You know the tradition. We take the headline for you to know exactly what you're expecting on this very news, so that at least it will trigger you to watch the news from beginning on to the end. Nnamdi Kanu not responsible for insecurity in Southeast. The whole Southeastern governors, they are the one that gathered and bring out this resolution. Make on hear this one, they said, that is what they said, and not what we keep hearing. It seems like they are about to recruit new military. Because anytime they want to recruit new military, you find out that you have any here and there. Oh, Boko Haram have repented. They have surrendered. They have do this and they have do that. And the next one you will see them now is into the army. Where they will push them, they will put them to the southeast. But this time around, all their evil plans must surely turn against them. Because they are busy pursuing right. Why their houses is on fire. Look at what is happening in the northeast, northwest, and north central. Precisely the Plateau State is on fire. Taraba State is on fire. As I'm talking to you right now, there's a very big crisis going on in those areas. Why they are busy looking for innocent IPOB and Biafrans in Biafra land. Their own house are being captured. Very soon, Niger Republic is going to take over all the whole 6 states that have been bordered with that Niger Republic. That is the hard working of God. The prayers of all the Biafrans is working. So keep on doing anything you are doing. Either you are praying, you are doing a cantation, or you are calling Ayerara, or be Amadio, or you are calling Ogun. Anyone that you are calling, as long as now to fight for our enemies. My dear brothers and sisters, go ahead and do what? And be doing it. That's a result. 8 Boko Haram terrorists surrendered in Brunu. This one not the story where they can give us. This one where the defense headquarters don't come, they talk, say they are not planning any coup. My dear brothers, it seems like this country now, the next country that we hear they have military have taken over is Nigeria. Because I never see the reason why they have arranged you people to go for war to the jail. So what are you coming out to say? Defense headquarters speaks on military coup in Nigeria. They don't want to take over. More people go on issue. If we don't want to take over, beg, make us take over. IPOB say holidays allowance cast doubt on senators' integrity. This one is coming from Aneze Ndiberibe. Why we didn't buy vehicles from Innocent? Abia government replies critics. Yeah, you must find a way to criticize. Of course, you must do it. After all, no be politics. Everything is politics now. So as long as you can defend yourself or bring out any kind of lies to confuse the public, you are a politician. Stay away from bribery, corruption. IGP warns police officers. Now today, get out. See how you look like. You look like Amadio. Stay away. But all of an away day for that head office will expect returns from every from every division, because the division they sent out boys on the street, and when they account to the division with them will account to the headquarters. And you say stop Kardashian and Yanya for newspaper. It don't happen again, though. We're gonna see this one. Though. This one is coming from the ex-president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where in MB OBJ Obasanjo, and I remember him now. That finest man. Obasanjo they reveal only Nigerian pastor that will make heaven, if there's any. Is there anything called heaven? I doubt that. But if there's any, no problem. May we continue. Presidential election, the tribunal. Anxiety as Nigerians await Judgment Day. Judgment Day. Judgment Day is not coming today because Tinubu told them, say, make them heart everything. Everything that got to do with that election petition tribunal, made them do or made them heart it until he finished with the jail. Look at the problems we are facing in Nigeria. The only thing he feels he can do for us is to be going to look into people's business that doesn't concern him. Anyway, we're gonna see we have another situation at hand here. Ecowas don't vow, say they go hold Russia responsible if Wagner violates human rights in the jail. How Wagner want to violate the human rights? If you people not invite them, how they want to violate the human rights? Man, don't lament you saying wife, he don't go change his children's name and the surname. Can't give them to new lover. All these things, that is where they happen for Nigeria. All these things, I think, what happened for Nigeria, outside Nigeria, but I don't know. We will come back for the main real deal. Anyway, my wonderful people, now we're about to do what? We're about to take off. Tighten your seatbelt, grab your popcorn, your coke, anything you can lay your hand. Even if Naibo, grab them. Because we are going to fly on a very high altitude. Southeast governors have said that the arrest of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is not responsible for the deteriorating insecurity in the region. The governors insisted that criminal elements rather than agitators were responsible for the violent crimes in the region, in the southeastern region. Chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinjo, stated this while addressing journalists after the forum's meeting in Enugu on Thursday. When asked what the governors were doing to free Nnamdi Kanu in detention and end the insecurity situation in the region, Uzodinjo said, I don't know how you relate the name of Nnamdi Kanu with the violence, kidnapping, beheading of human beings, the burning down of homes and palaces of traditional rulers to Nnamdi Kanu, but that is not what they are asked. But if you have any evidence, please, you may wish to approach us after this season. But that is not what they have been asked now. Also, in a 3-point communique read out to newsmen, the Southeast governors insisted that perpetrators of the insecurity in the region and their sponsors were criminals and should not be seen as legitimate agitators. According to the communique, we wish to state categorically that the perpetrators of the insecurity in our region and their sponsors are criminals and should not be seen as legitimate agitators. Therefore, upon arrest, they should be dealt with in accordance with the laws of the land. The forum firmly resolved to fight insecurity decisively in the region, individually and collectively, in partnership with the federal government of Nigeria and other stakeholders, or you can call them Fulani government of Nigeria. Uzodinjo, they ask you, what are the governors doing to release Nnamdi Kanu, and you use that Latin to cover it. That means that means I don't even have any intention of releasing him. You know what is happening, and you know why Martin Namdekan is still being held in detention. You that is called Hope Uzodimma and Devil Mahi on a hand the day there. We know, but let it be story for another day. We are waiting to see how all these things will play out. It commended the security agencies for their cooperation thus far and encouraged them not to relent. And the governors who met with the chief of naval staff and other security chiefs in their meeting further resolved to hold the security and the economic summit on a date to be announced soon. Those in attendance are Hope Uzodinjo of Imo State, who is the chairman of the forum, Prof. Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State, Francis Nwifuru of Ebonyi, Alex Chioma Uti of Abia State, and the host will be Peter Mba of Enugu State. He is the host of the meeting. On the plan to relaunch Ebubago in the region, Uzodinjo said that has to do with the details of the program of the Forum of Governors working in partnership with the federal government to deal with the insecurity in the region. When the details are out, we will let you know. They launch Ebubago again so that they will continue to massacring our people. And other governors were there. Nobody says anything about the launch of Ebubago. Ebubago that is being corrupted by, what do they call it, Asari Dokubo. It's all right. At least 8 Boko Haram terrorists who have surrendered in the Bama local government area of Borno State following a week-long sustained offensive by the troops of Operation Hadinkai in Sambisa Forest. Bama is about 60 kilometers from Maiduguri, the state capital. Daily Post learned that the terrorists from Birnin Abuja village in Sambisa Forest laid down their arms to the troops of the 21 Armored Brigade on Friday. The militants, Julebeb, Monkaela, Zakwawi, Sadiq, Baba, Abu Harera, Hamza, and Bukhara, who were active fighters loyal to the Jama'at al-Tamadu Wandai Jihad Boko Haram's factions, surrendered their AK-47 rifles. What about the people they killed? What about the economy they destroyed? It was learned that they surrendered due to the troops' onslaught as well as the Boko Haram ISWAP infighting. One of the surrendered terrorists said they lost hope in the fight as the forest became inhabitable and their people were dying due to hardship, bad living conditions, and diseases. Every day we keep asking ourselves, who are we fighting and why are we fighting? We keep killing ourselves. There's no joy in Boko Haram. Many of our people are tired. They want to surrender, but they are scared. They think that when they come out, they will be killed. We also have the same thought, but they did not kill us, he said. Recall that over 100,000 terrorists with their families have surrendered to troops of Operation Hadinkai within the last year, according to the news they gave us. Defense headquarters speaks on military coup in Nigeria. The defense headquarters on Friday said the Nigerian military has no plan to take over the government in Nigeria. This is as it revealed that there have been some recent calls from some quarters for the military to intervene in the country's democracy. However, the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tuku Gusau, in a statement on Friday, assured that the armed forces of Nigeria will not execute any coup as the military is better under democracy. He further described the call on the military to interfere on Nigeria's democracy as highly unpatriotic and wicked. Gusau pleaded the loyalty of the nation's military under the leadership of the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.G. Musa, to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, adding that they would not be distracted from their constitutional duties. The full statement reads, the defense headquarters frown at a report being circulated online about welfare issues in the armed forces of Nigeria. The report called on the military to interfere in our democracy is highly unpatriotic, wicked, and an attempt to distract the armed forces of Nigeria from performing its constitutional responsibilities. While the leadership of the AFN gives priority to welfare of its personnel, however, we detest any attempt by any individual or group to instigate the law-abiding armed forces of Nigeria to embark on any constitutional change of government in our country. We wish to state unequivocally that the military is happy and better under democracy and will not get involved in any act of sabotage the hard-earned democracy in our country. The AFN, under the leadership of Chief of Defense Staff General C.G. Musa, is determined to ensure complete subordination of the armed forces to constitutional authority under His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and will not be distracted from its roles that are well defined in the 1999 Constitution as amended. Thank you for your usual cooperation, according to CG Tukur, Omar Tukur. Akpabio's holiday allowance cast doubt on senators' integrity. Ohaneze Ndefulefu. The Ohaneze Ndefulefu social cultural organization has faulted Senate President Godswill Akpabio's remark over holiday tokens for lawmakers. Ohaneze said Akpabio's remark cast doubt on the integrity of senators and is an attempt to tarnish their image. The organization charged the Senate to ask Nigerians for forgiveness and clarify the remark. Nothing to clarify there, my dear. A statement by the body's factional secretary, General Okechukwu Isiguzoro, said the recent statement made by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio regarding the distribution of holiday tokens to all 109 senators has sparked outrage among the Nigerian public. This revelation comes at a time when Nigerians are already grappling with significant hardship, particularly in the wake of fuel subsidy removal. The news that the senators are receiving additional benefits while citizens struggle have further deepened public resentment. The remark tarnishes the image of the Nigerian Senate and casts doubt on the lawmakers' integrity to handle the issues or affairs of the country. And Ezendibo calls on the Senate to clarify the source of the tokens and pleas for forgiveness on behalf of Akpabio while urging senators with integrity to speak up. Nobody will speak up because when you speak up, they will go into closed-door meetings which no any single media will be there and they will discipline that person. We know about all this. Why we didn't buy vehicles from Innocent, according to Abia government reply critics. The Abia State governor or government has explained the reason for purchasing a fleet of military vehicles from outside the country for the security personnel in the state. Recall Governor Alex Oti had on Wednesday launched Operation Crush, a joint task force of police, army, navy, and other relevant security agencies, and subsequently unveiled 20 Hilux patrol vans donated by the administration to security agencies in the state. However, Nigerians have berated the governor for ignoring ingenious companies like Innocent Motors and Nord while patronizing a foreign company. Reacting in a Twitter post on Thursday, the Deputy Chief of Staff to Abia Governor Nedu Eke said, as at the time of the trucks were needed in the state for swift military operations, Innocent had no such vehicles in stock. He wrote, "We have read the comments on social media about the Toyota Hilux vans. The Abia State government bought for a special security operation named Operation Crush or Flush. We appreciate the feedback, especially as most commentators are coming from a place of love for country and support for the Alex Oti administration. The administration appreciates more than anyone else the need to patronize locally made goods, and this was why we had, upon assuming office, ordered more than 50 units of cars from the Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company. We currently have 20 unmade orders." Eke noted that some commissioners do not even have official vehicles, and the governor's official car is yet to be delivered as he still uses private cars as a sitting governor. He added the military service commanders in Abia needed trucks for immediate takeoff of the special operation, and unfortunately, Innocent had no such vehicles in stock. The government could not delay the operation as it places a premium on lives and properties of all Abians. We are first and foremost interested in stemming insecurity in the state, and we want to do it as quickly as possible. We were concerned by the time and had to go for what was readily available. This does not foreclose any prospect of future transaction with Innocent or any other local brand in Nigeria. We are open to honest feedback such as the one we have had in the last 2 days. We will always listen and respond. And even if we disagree with your perspective, we will still respond to any critics we find on social media. Stay away from bribery and corruption, according to Inspector General of Police warns other junior police officers. This one is coming from the office of Coup, the newly appointed, or what they call it, or the interim Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Acting Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has said that officers of the Nigerian police force will have to shun corrupt tendencies in order to have acceptable images in the eyes of the public. Egbetokun stated this while addressing officers and men of the Kano State Police Command on Friday, where he urged police officers to go the extra mile to redeem the image of the force by rejecting indecent advances made to them by unpatriotic citizens. IGP, who confirmed or who affirmed that the Nigerian police is one of the finest in the world, said police officers need to be seen as above bribery and corruption. Nigerian police in the world. Nonsense. He also warned that promotion in the police will henceforth be based on merit. Earlier, the Kano State Commissioner of Police, Hussaini Gumel, said over 150 criminals were arrested in different parts of the state. He stated that a comprehensive security network had been worked out to ensure arrests and prosecutions of criminal elements all in the state. Obasanjo reveals the only Nigerian pastor who will make heaven. Obasanjo now you be the God where they judge. Nigeria's former president Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has asserted that the only pastor in Nigeria that will likely make heaven. Let us see who is that. According to Nigeria News, understand that Obasanjo was at the funeral service of the late prelate emeritus of the Modest Church of Nigeria, Dr. Sunday Mbang, CON in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, when he said he thinks the deceased is the only Christian leader in Nigeria. He is sure that we make heaven. Okay, Ubang, Abego, go and make way for us. We are coming to that heaven with you. The former president, who was a special guest of honor at the event on Friday, said the late prelate was not only forthright, but he was not a man of emotions. Obasanjo disclosed that shortly after his release from prison and pressure was on him to become the president of Nigeria, one of the prominent Nigerians he consulted across the country was the late prelate emeritus Mbang, and he gained enormously from his advice. He said the late prelate emeritus was a man who always sought his advice because of his forthrightness. He added that when Governor Emmanuel Odom was at the helm of affairs in Akwa Ibom State, and he wanted to seek Mbang's opinion on any burning issues, he would visit Akwa Ibom State under the pretext of wanting to see the governor, but the person he was going to see was the late prelate emeritus. Nigerian News understand that Mbang, who was once president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and the first black president of the World Methodist Council, died in New York, Akwa Ibom State, on Tuesday, May 16, 2023. Presidential Election Tribunal, anxiety as Nigerians await the judgment day. As the 5 justices that had the election petition filed by the candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the Labour Party LP Peter Obi at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal challenging the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the February 25th presidential election prepared to deliver their ruling on the matter. Nigerians at home and in diaspora are filled with great expectations that the judges will rule based on the facts and figures presented before them and not based on the technicalities or any other considerations. Recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) had on March 1st, 4 days after the presidential election held on February 25th, announced Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of All Poverty Congress (APC) as the winner of the election and the president-elect. According to the INEC chairman, Prof. Mahmood Yakubu, Tinubu pulled out 8,794,726 votes to beat Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, who came second with a total amount of 6,984,520 votes, and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, who placed third with 6,101,533 votes. The INEC chairman stressed that by that score, Tinubu had met the first constitutional requirement of gaining the highest votes among all the candidates. He said he also scored over 25% of the votes cast in 30 states, which are more than 24 states that are constitutionally required. Who's got all the 30 states? Waiting to Tinubu get now only 8 states, the only 8 states in gate. With this declaration, many Nigerians felt that INEC had neglected a very important constitutional requirement, which says that a candidate must score 25% of the votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to be declared President of Nigeria. From the INEC records, only the Labour Party candidate who came third met that requirement. Tinubu and Atiku did not, but INEC, in its own wisdom, did not consider that as enough reason to deny Tinubu the victory, having scored the highest number of votes cast in the election and having scored 25% in more than 24 states of the Federation. However, that declaration did not go down well with the Labour Party and his counterpart in PDP, as they felt that apart from the fact that Tinubu did not score 25% of the votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory as required by the Constitution, the election was also marred by irregularities. They were of the view that Tinubu did not win, and that the INEC was wrong to have declared him as the winner. And what followed was a legal action from both parties at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. So, on the March 21, 2023, Obi approached the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal with a petition to challenge Tinubu's victory in the 25th February presidential selection. He alleged that the election was characterized by irregularities ranging from rigging to manipulation of election results, intimidation and suppression of voters, destruction of ballot boxes and papers, and thuggery, among others, including claims that Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima were not qualified to contest for the election in the first instance. He also alleged that Tinubu did not score the majority of the lawful votes cast in the election and did not get 25% of the votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, which is a constitutional requirement that must be met before one can be declared President of the Nigeria. He equally alleged that the election was conducted in substantial non-compliance with the provisions of the law, according to Peter Obi. Obi's first grounds of non-qualification was hinged on the claim that at the time of the presidential election, Tinubu was not qualified to contest for the election because he was fined $460,000 for an offense involving narcotics trafficking imposed by the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, in case number 93C 4483 between the United States of America and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. According to Obi, the second ground of non-qualification was that Tinubu's running mate, Kashim Shettima, had 2 nominations for 2 separate constituencies as Borno's Central Senatorial candidate and as a vice presidential candidate in the same electoral or election cycle. Obi equally contended that Tinubu was not duly elected by majority of the lawful votes cast in each of the at least 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. He submitted that Tinubu was not entitled to be declared the winner of the election, having failed to score 1/4 of the lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory in that said selection. In his two main prayers, he urged the court to declare Tinubu and his running mate Shettima unqualified to contest the February 25th presidential election and that Tinubu did not score a majority of the lawful votes cast in the election. He asked the court to declare that he is satisfied that the constitutional requirement to be declared the winner of the February 25th, 2023 presidential election after the deduction of alleged illegal votes from Tinubu's scores. In the second prayer, he again urged the court to invalidate Tinubu's victory due to his failure to win 1/4 of the lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Abia State prayer, which was put forward as an alternative prayer, urged the court to cancel the election and order the INEC to conduct a fresh one. In his fourth prayer, he repeated his claim that he won the election because he secured the majority of the lawful votes cast during the February 25th presidential selection. He therefore ordered the court to declare him the president-elect and ordered the INEC to issue him the certificate of return. He also ordered the court to void the certificate of return wrongly issued to Tinubu. In the same vein, PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar filed a petition on the same March 21 challenging Tinubu's election. In his petition, Atiku asked the presidential election court to either declare him the winner of the February 25th presidential election or nullify the election and order a rerun. To prove his case, he called 27 witnesses and tendered tons of electoral documents. While closing his case, Atiku made some prayers which include that Tinubu was not duly elected by a majority of lawful votes cast, and therefore his victory is unlawful, wrongfully unconstitutional, and should be voided. That at the time of the election, Tinubu was not qualified to contest the said election, that the return of Tinubu by the INEC was wrongfully, unlawfully, undue, null and void, having not satisfied the requirements of the Electoral Act and the constitutions, which mandatorily requires Tinubu to score not less than 1/4 of the lawful votes cast at the election in each of the at least 2/3 of all the states in the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and that the court should declare him the winner as he scored the majority of the lawful votes cast at the presidential election, among others. In the alternative, he also asked the court to direct the electoral body to conduct a second election runoff between him and Tinubu. Having closed their cases, the respondents, in this case the INEC, the APC, the Tinubu, and Shettima, asked the tribunal to give them 1 week to open their defense, a request the 5-member panel presided over by Justice Haruna Samani granted and fixed July 3 for them to open their cases. However, closing their defense, Tinubu and Shettima, alongside their party, the APC, through their lawyers led by Wale Olanipekun and Lateef Fagbemi, sent out several documents with only one witness to testify in aid of their counter-argument against the issue raised by Atiku and Obi. Counsels to Tinubu, Shettima, and the APC, as well as that of INEC, countered all the arguments raised by the petitioners and prayed the court to dismiss the petitions. For example, they argued that the issue of 25% of votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory is illogical as it goes against the express provisions of the Constitution. The Federal Capital Territory must be treated as if it were a state. We submit that the case for non-compliance has not been made. The Federal Capital Territory argument has a fall flat. The lawyers argued, praying the court to dismiss all the petitions being filed. Meanwhile, Tinubu and his party, APC, also told the tribunal that should there be need for a rerun of Labour Party's Obi should not be part of it. Their argument is that Obi was not qualified to fly the Labour Party's flag in the election by virtue of his name not contained in the membership register submitted to the INEC prior to the polls. With all the close of arguments by all the parties in the case on Tuesday, August 1, the over 3 months legal fireworks were dropped in the court of 5-man panel who would give their judgment before September 16, when the suit is expected to elapse. The petitions were filed in March 21, but hearing in the substantive suit began in May, lasting for 3 good months. At the close of arguments, the respected juries had told the parties and Nigerians that the day of judgment will be communicated to them in due course. However, as Nigerians await the verdict of the tribunal amid tensions, anxiety, and great expectations, discussions and opinions on the possible outcome have not ceased. There are those who have expressed fear that whichever way the judgment goes, there could still be pockets of a protest. Yet, there are those who have plainly and honestly advised the judges to remain resolute, undaunted, and fearless, and to pass their judgments based on the facts and figures presented before them, and not based on technicalities. An APC chieftain and former member of the Katsina State House of Assembly, Honorable Yusuf Shehu, had refused to accept that the judges are not capable of taking the right decision. He believed that the judges will live up to their bidding and surprise those who have lost faith in them. He is among those who advise that the judges must look at the issues before them consciously and deliver judgment without fear or favor. He said, "I've always maintained that justice is truth, transparency, honesty, and the giving right to those who deserve it. So I advise the judges handling all cases, not only the election petition cases, to be above board and do the right thing. They should listen to the doctrine of their vocation. I believe in the Nigerian judicial system, and as I said earlier, justice is doing the right thing." He reminded the judges that there is another judge that will judge them in the hereafter. Therefore, they have a great responsibility to do what is right without fear or favor, so that democracy can thrive in Nigeria. The Nigerian judges have done their best. We have commended them in so many instances where they obtained the elections in favor of the oppositions and against the ruling party. They should continue on the same path now by looking at all the evidence before them as they pass their judgment. They should be able to make decisions that will be accepted by the majority of Nigerians and people of other countries who are watching us. That is the expectations of Nigerians from them, he stated. Again, the president of the Middle Belt Forum, Dr. Pogu Bitrus, also believes that the judges will not cave in to pressures, knowing that the law is the final arbiter and the last hope of a common man. Nigerians believe that all those injustices, abnormalities, and disregards for the constitutionality that the INEC has done or committed will be exposed and judgments given appropriately and accordingly. Somebody walks in, changes results from the polling units, destroys result sheets, and refuses to upload results and others. The laws of the nation are to clear on some of these rulings, and we believe that the judges will do the needful. They will do the right thing and make a pronouncement that will save the nation, because today our hope is on them. The INEC has done the wrong thing, and that is why we are in court. If the right thing was done and the right person declared after the right thing had been done, I believe some people will not even petition or go to court, but they are in court because they believe that the wrong things were done by the INEC, he claimed. He added, some people believe that the constitutional requirement for someone to be the president was not there, yet the INEC pronounced somebody the president. They know the law requires that a candidate needs 25% vote in the Federal Capital Territory to be president. So let us not deceive ourselves. Nigerians are expecting the right thing to be done by giving them the right judgment, and we believe that they will do that right thing at the right time. Mr. Marcellus Honor, a lawyer and public affairs commentator, believes that Nigerians are going through very difficult and tough times and would not want the judges to toy with their destiny. He believes that even the judges could read the political temperature of the country and would not do anything that could test the fragile peace of the country. He also believes that the judges would look at the facts before them and pass their judgment. Many people have lost faith in the judiciary, so this is the great opportunity for them to prove the naysayers wrong, according to him, he stated. So my good people, when I don't hear them, this will not be from my mouth. Now from the people, we know people, and we know other peoples. So let us continue. Okay, let us take our last news. This one is a Ecowas, so they don't come to the vow, say Wagner said they will hold them responsible if they trample upon the rights of the people of Niger. The Economic Community of West African States, Ecowas, on Friday vowed to hold Russia to account if Wagner violates human rights in Niger Republic. Wagner is a private military contractor of the Eastern European nation. The Ecowas Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Ambassador Abel Fattah Musau, stated this during an interview on Channels Television. Musau further stated that another West African nation had a separate arrangement with the security outfit. He said the Wagner group apparently is in Mali today. The Malian government says this is an agreement between them and the Russian Federation. We want to take them by their word, which means any sort of action that infringes on human rights or devastation in our region by these private military contractors, we are going to hold the other countries of our region responsible for that. As if he meant Russia, the ECOWAS official stressed, that's Russia. We will hold them responsible diplomatically. The West African region is just not Russia, according to him. Musau stated that private military companies have been a feature of the African conflict scene for years. He said private military companies were involved in Sierra Leone, they were involved in Liberia during those civil wars long ago, and even recently in the global conflict, there has been the use of private military companies. The Americans are using them in Iraq, in Afghanistan, they use them, and others. What we are saying is that these groups are not acceptable in Africa, even though they are there, and we are going to hold their countries of origin responsible for any violations. The ECOWAS Commissioner also highlighted the current involvement of the Western forces in Niger, including France and the European Union, adding that the region had also seen an influence of Middle Eastern nations such as Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, and Russia and China. He said, what we are saying is that we are not going to allow West Africa to be an arena of proxy wars again, and that is our attitude to Wagner. It is not our option. We do not want private military companies interfering in the conflict environment in the region because we know the consequences of their actions if they dare try it, according to them. So, my wonderful people, viewers and subscribers, like saying here we go take back our kaya. Maybe we'll take other news again to certify this news. Maybe we'll close on here. And I still remember, say, my name never changed. I still remain Okute Daily Talk, giving to you this very news of this day. Anyway, my wonderful people, like say, I go say bye-bye from here. Until you hear my voice again, I still remain Okute Daily Talk. Like my content, subscribe, comment, and of them all. Make sure you subscribe and share all the messages you have from here. Until you come your way again, have a nice weekend and have a nice Saturday. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Que mesiano.